It's Trevor. He's really strong for a ghost. And funny.
Although Ghosts Season 5 tried to up the CBS sitcom's stakes by dropping one of its recurring cast members, the wrong ghost moved on to the afterlife. The ghosts of CBS's Ghosts are a unique bunch, and the antics of Thor, Sass, Isaac, Hetty, Alberta, Flower, Pete, and Trevor are what bring viewers back every week. However, there is always the ever-present threat that any of the ghosts could be sucked off to heaven or down to hell at any time. This was established way back in Season 1, but has only happened a handful of times since, and the fate has never befallen a member of the show's main cast. This arguably changed in Season 5, Episode 1, Soul Custody, when Pete's wife Carol allowed her soul to be taken to hell so that Jay could continue to live on Earth. Ironically, her first act of selflessness then saw her admitted into heaven instead, ending her relatively short stay in the Woodstone Mansion's purgatory. Carol could arguably be called one of the show's main ghosts, but she is more of a supporting character. She only appears in a handful of episodes, and although at least 2 episodes centered on her, both were equally focused on her former husband, Pete, too. Ghosts Season 5's premiere should have redeemed Patience, not Carol. However, the biggest problem with the Ghosts Season 5 premiere's character exit was not that Carol isn't a main character. Instead, it is that Ghosts has another, more obvious candidate when it comes to supporting characters who should have been sucked off. Mary Holland's Puritan Patience, introduced in Season 4, was a more fitting guest star. Ghosts needed to drop Patience more than Pete's wife, since the CBS sitcom now has no other use for Patience. She remains as annoying as ever, but she also still has to be a presence in the show, and since she didn't do the right thing by taking Jay's place, unlike Carol, she doesn't really have a character arc anymore. In Ghosts Season 4's finale, it seemed as if the stage was being set for a showdown between Elias, Hetty's demonic ex-husband, and Patience. Throughout Season 4, Patience had annoyed the ghosts and humans alike with her pious god-bothering. However, when she detected a demonic presence on the property in the finale, her instincts were right for once. Patience knew that Elias was back before anyone else, so it seemed like Season 5's premiere would finally prove that she wasn't entirely exaggerating when she claimed to be doing the Lord's work. It would have been a genuinely shocking twist if Patience, who until now was so self-involved and hubristic, had selflessly sacrificed herself to save Jay's soul. Ghosts made its lore more confusing with Carol's exit. Not only did Ghosts Season 5's Carol exit fail to follow through on Patience's foreshadowed character arc, but her departure also made the rules of the show's universe more confusing. Already, it was strange that Ghosts Season 5 introduced demons to a show that already struggled with the rules of its ghosts. However, Carol's exit made the question of when and how ghosts are sucked off more confusing. After Patience said she would bravely take Jay's place, she chickened out at the last moment, and Carol offered to take his place instead. Ostensibly, this was so she could finally do right by Pete. Then her offer was taken as evidence of her innate goodness, and she was allowed into heaven after all. Carol's last-second redemption led to her ascent into a blissful afterlife, but then wouldn't that devalue her entire sacrifice? If Carol went to heaven, then Elias would still be owed a soul after her exit. Similarly, Carol's entrance into heaven calls into question just why the rest of the cast are still stuck in the Woodstone Mansion. In the case of Thor, this is pretty easy to guess. He has admitted that he killed dozens of people during his life, so he has a lot of tangible sins to account for before he can be sucked off. The CBS sitcom must explain how ghosts are sucked off. Similarly, Trevor's financial mismanagement might explain why he remains in purgatory. And Hetty's anti-Irish sentiments and classist views mean she likely did a lot of damage to the lives of others during her life. However, it's completely unclear why characters like Pete and Flower would still be stuck in Woodstone longer than Carol. Thus, Ghosts now needs to explain exactly when and why ghosts are sucked off, and the CBS sitcom should use patience to do this. The rules of the show's fictional universe don't make much sense if Ghost Season 5 still features Flower, who is faultlessly kind to everyone, but Carol's one act of kindness immediately led to her internal redemption. Since Holland's patience is already underserved by the show's writing, there is no better candidate for an exit in Season 5. Patience's departure could explain what it takes to get sucked off in the world of the sitcom, finally answering one of the biggest lingering mysteries in Ghosts in the process.